Hey everybody, welcome back to Enemy Archives, where enemies from the Legend of Zelda series are brought into the light. In previous episodes of this series, we've covered Moblins, Bokoblins, Bulblins, Big Blins, and Mini Blins, but one more Blin enemy remains. The final type of Blin, which we will investigate today, is called the Bulblin. Bulblins aren't exactly the toughest enemies, but they are definitely some of the most interesting. They only appear in two main series titles, and they are fairly similar in both games. They also have a reputation for being bandits of sorts, and are often seen with their Bulbo companions. That said, let's get going with the last regular episode of the Blin series, Enemy Archives Bulblins. Twilight Princess. As Bulblins made their first appearance in The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, they also took the center stage. These emerald enemies can be found all over Hyrule, and they are led by King Bulblin, a follower of Zant, who in turn serves Ganon. While most Bulblins appear the same, there are two primary types of Bulblin. For simplicity, we'll refer to them as Bulblin Fighters and Bulblin Archers. Bulblin Fighters are equipped with clubs and have no misgivings about beating up Link if he gets in their way. They fight similarly to Bokoblins, but they are tougher than blue Bokoblins and weaker than purple Bokoblins. Bulblin Fighters are also fairly aggressive and will attack unprovoked. However, while many enemies take damage from slingshot attacks, Bulblins will only be stunned for a brief amount of time. Bulblin Fighters usually come in groups, often accompanied by Bulblin Archers. That brings us to Bulblin Archers. These Bulblins wield bows and shoot either fire or bomb arrows at Link. Bulblin Archers can be found on the ground, but they usually stick to high places beyond Link's reach. However, if a Bulblin isn't careful about where it is shooting from, it will probably regret shooting at Link in the first place. Bulblins are found very often in the dungeons containing fused shadows, but they can also be found in plentiful numbers across Hyrule Field. In fact, some Bulblins choose to ride creatures called Bullbos, which are basically massive boars. When two Bulblins do this, one Bulblin rides up front and controls the Bulbo, while the other one rides behind and shoots fire arrows. The best way to take on these enemies is by riding Epona and firing arrows from a distance, but Link can also take them out with his sword if they get too close. If the Bulblin in front is defeated before the Bulblin in back, the Bulbo mount will go out of control and send the remaining Bulblin flying. While many of Link's enemies aren't known for their wits, Bulblins are significantly smarter than most enemies. They are responsible for many of Link's problems, such as the burning bridge over Lake Hylia, where a single Bulblin sets up a clever trap. Bulblins also cause trouble for Link when he is escorting Telma's cart to Kakariko Village. On the way, Bulblins riding Bulbos will chase after the cart and shoot flaming arrows at it, forcing Link to extinguish the flames before the cart burns up along with the people inside. Spirit Tracks. The only other game Bulblins have appeared in so far is Spirit Tracks. These Bulblins look pretty similar, except all of them now have a big red nose sticking out from their masks. When Link is riding his train through the Forest Realm or the Snow Realm, he may run into one or two Bulblins riding their Bulbo mounts. These Bulblins will fire bomb arrows at the train, which Link can shoot out of the air before they can cause any damage. Bulblins take 2 hits from the train's cannon before they fall. It is also possible to run into 2 Bulbos on their own, without their Bulblin riders. Unfortunately, even though Bulblins in Twilight Princess were pretty important, they just aren't that notable in Spirit Tracks. Guess what is important, though? The results of the last episode's quiz. So, here they are. Let's see. Well, it looks like none of the answers were for A, 88% of the answers were for B, nobody guessed C or D, and 11% gave up and answered the elusive E. I probably should have made that quiz a little bit harder. Oh wait, there's today's quiz. I can't wait to see how you do with that. Well, let's get back to Bulblins. Now, Bulblins are often considered regular enemies in Twilight Princess, but they do make several unusual appearances in the game. Let's check some of them out. When Twilight covers the land of Hyrule, almost everything changes, monsters included. Thus, when Bulblins are found in the Twilight, they have been transformed into Shadow Bulblins. Shadow Bulblins come in the same varieties as regular Bulblins, with the exception of the Bulbo riders. They also behave like regular Bulblins and take the same amount of damage to defeat as well. The main difference is that Link must fight these enemies as a wolf, not as a Hylian, and this changes how he must approach them in combat. Other than that, Shadow Bulblins really just exist to look cool. While Bulblins are normally found in numbers of 2, 3, or 4, there is one location that is completely overrun with Bulblins. This place is known as the Hidden Village, which has only one human inhabitant, Impaz. Impaz will not allow Link to come into her house until he has defeated all of the Bulblins outside. The Bulblins have settled all over the village, so Link must roam around defeating them until they are all gone. Once they are, Impaz will allow Link to come inside, and the story will continue. Now, as I previously mentioned, Bulblins are found all over Hyrule Field. However, the most important location related to Bulblins is probably their base, tucked away in the Gerudo Desert outside the Arbiter's grounds. This camp is stuffed to the brim with Bulblins, both archers and fighters. Several watchtowers are positioned throughout the camp, and most of them have a Bulblin archer on top keeping lookout. If one of these archers spots Link, they'll start yelling like nuts, which causes hordes of Bulblin fighters to home in on Link. To stop these Bulblin waves, Link must defeat the archer, who continues to annoy Link by shooting flaming arrows at him all the while. In addition, King Bulblin takes Link on in a one-on-one battle inside a tent, wielding a massive axe. Once Link defeats him, he traps Link and sets the tent on fire, forcing Link to break out by riding a nearby Bulbo who was left inside. Alright, I think we've just about seen all the Bulblins in the world at this point, but we haven't seen all the quizzes yet. Here's the question for today. Where is Link escorting Telma's cart? A. The Hidden Village. B. Zora's Domain. C. The Goron Mines. Or D. Kakariko Village. Once you think you have the right answer, click or tap the small white box in the top right corner of the screen. The answers for this quiz will be collected around a week from this video's publication, so even if you're a few days late, your guess should still be counted. Thanks for watching today's episode of Enemy Archives. As far as the Blin series goes, this is the last regular enemy for now, but there might just be one more enemy remaining. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. If you're ready for a boss stage, let me know by liking the video and subscribe so you get a notification when it, hopefully, comes out. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time you're in the Legend Zone. Now, let's see if I can ride one of these things. This isn't so bad.